time once again for Retirement Approved with Matt and Steve Paul from RW Paul and Associates. We're going to do some hot takes, guys, since that's all the rage on the YouTubes for a number of years now. I'm going to give you guys some financial hot takes from some notable peeps, some big talking heads out there. And let you guys kind of give me your feedback and give the listeners some feedback on what you think about some of these. And obviously, let's be fair here. Like, they're doing this stuff. They're not in the trenches. They're not actually serving clients like you guys do. They're not governed or licensed and all that kind of stuff. They're selling books and in programs and, getting clicks and eyeballs and all that stuff. So take some of this with a grain of salt, right? But we'll have some fun with this conversation today. Steve, my friend, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Looking forward to getting your guys' response on some of these. Matt, my friend, how are you this week?
Can't complain. April and the D, best time of the year.
There you go. All right. Well, unless you catch the bugs that are going around and everybody making everybody sick because of the crazy weather. But let's dive in. Steve, I'm gonna throw this first one at you.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, author. Massive book, helped a lot of people a number of years ago. He seems to have changed a bit over the last few years, getting a little more controversial. And so here's, and again, probably, trying to push a program or, get Instagram likes or something like that. But here's the statement I want you to react to. He's now saying that people should not work for a company and save in their retirement plans. Instead, launch their own startup or buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin, or maybe all the above. What's your take?
I think I've even seen him throw Ethereum in there too.
Okay.
So it's
all right.
Just load up on crypto, silver, and gold, and you'll be fine.
Little
now,
aggressive.
What is he saying though? Is he saying a portion of your portfolio, or is he saying 100% of your portfolio? Doesn't matter if you're in your 40s or your 60s in retirement, should be in these assets.
Yeah, like a lot of these, he's intentionally vague. He doesn't say own 5%, own 25%, own 50%. It's just like own it. And the way he talks about it, it's a significant portion of your net worth.
And then he just pops up when everything's doing well, right? See, I told you so.
Yeah,
It goes away in times like this. I mean, just look at the last 3 months. I mean, if we're talking about a basic retirement plan and you've put a significant portion in crypto assets and in Bitcoin and Ethereum, the last 3 months we've had a 50% pullback there. It's just crazy. It makes no sense. But I mean, he's looking for clicks. This is all for entertainment purposes. So if you've got a wacky guy in a crazy shirt and some colored frame glasses that says, buy Bitcoin and gold, 100% of your portfolio, put it in there, and you'll be fine. Retirement's going to be great. That's the way you want to go. Or if you have two CFP nerds that are like, hey, proper diversification and safe withdrawal rates. What video are you clicking on? You're clicking on us? Probably not. You're like, I'm going to see what this wacky guy has to say.
Yeah. And he made a name with the book, and he's now saying, don't worry about your retirement plan. Start your own company. Well, 90% of startups fail. So there is a lot of risk in that. We work with a lot of retirees from Ford, GM, Stellantis, and they've built careers in the auto industry. There's a lot of value to having a nice stable job with a Fortune 500 company, but that's kind of boring to say.
That's a good point. And not everybody has the right mentality to be an entrepreneur too. Right? Let's not even forget that. Right. Sure. I mean, that's definitely a hard thing, which is probably why 90%, that number is so high. So that's pretty aggressive, right? So that one's pretty aggressive on that first hot take. So let's go to this next one here, guys, from Suze Orman, or Suze, and she's the host of Women and Money. And if his was aggressive, this one's like crazy conservative to me. I want to get your take, whoever wants to take this. She's suggesting setting aside 3 to 5 years worth of money, living expenses, for that just in case emergency type fund in case the market goes caca. Whoever wants to jump on this. So what do you think?
I like Suze Orman, but 36 months to 60 months of expenses on hand for emergencies. What in the world? Like 3 to 6 months. So 90% less than that. I'm fine with. So my hot take would be a lot of people run with probably overfunded emergency accounts.
I mean, this is pretty subjective. So I have clients that I disagree with that have, 18 months of expenses in their savings account that's losing to inflation, and it drives me crazy. But if they had anything less, it wouldn't be good for their mental health.
Sure.
They'd stress out about it. They'd lose sleep. So that's their number. They're comfortable with it. It's subjective. I don't argue with it. It's fine. I think 3 to 6 months is fine. And then I look at the rest of the portfolio. So we're not talking, hey, you got 3 to 6 months of expenses in your checking account or savings account, and then the rest of your portfolio is in 100% equities. What else do you have in your portfolio? Do you have a multi-year guaranteed annuity, a fixed annuity? Do you have fixed income? Do you have CDs? Do you have other safe assets in your portfolio that can kind of act as a backup bank account? It drives me nuts when we get over a year of expenses in savings accounts losing to inflation. I just think it's unnecessary when there's other assets you can own that at least keep up with inflation and outpace them.
Yeah, a lot of people plan for this hypothetical worst case scenario of 2008 happening and the market going down 30, 40%. And then your furnace goes out and you need to sell assets to fund your furnace. It's like, what kind of freak scenario is that? Like 1 in a million? So a lot of people think that, and it's just not ideal. What's also not ideal is having 100,000 sitting in a bank account just to make you feel good, and that's sitting on the sidelines in a bull market. Not saying it should be in equities, but say it was in a balanced position, you might have earned 5 to 7% over the last 5 years.
Yeah, with limited downside.
Yeah, and great, at the time we're taping this, guys, obviously the market's been a bit volatile with the conflict and everything going on.
Right.
Year to date, though, we're still only down 5% in the S&P when we talk about the market, talking the S&P. So
depending on the day.
Yeah, depending on the day, right? But year to date, it's down, 5 right this minute, again, while we're talking, right? So sometimes, one's too aggressive, one's too conservative, right? In these first initial hot takes. So this one cracks me up. This one of my list to throw at you guys today, this one from Kevin O'Leary might be the most balanced. So I'm going to throw this one at you. Kevin in his suits, you were talking about Kiyosaki's. Kevin's got some great suits now, I'm going to tell you what. But anyway, he insists that you should, if you don't know your net worth at all times, you're being irresponsible with your money. He promotes constant tracking, optimization, and performance measurement. Now, I said this one's probably the most balanced, and even this constant might be a bit too much for some people. But what's your take?
Matt's smiling at me over there. I don't think this one's crazy. I tell people this all the time. I mean, this is me. I track everything. Track my portfolio. I track my expenses. My wife will tell me that I'm crazy. I hear that, I feel like, once a month. Like, what are you doing? You don't need to do all this. But this is exactly why we have jobs. People don't want to do this. They don't want to track everything.
Well, you just called yourself a nerd earlier, right? So you're nerding out on it, right? But a lot of people, constant is probably too much for most people, which is why they would turn to somebody like you guys to help.
My favorite type of client is the one that comes in and says, give me my update. I don't have a clue what the market's doing, what my income, what my portfolio's at. And that's actually a great way to invest, where you're not getting driven crazy by the ups and downs of the market.
And Matt brings up a great point, emotions.
Okay.
A lot of people can do this.
Sure.
But they don't want to because of the emotion that goes into it. So, I mean, you talk about Bitcoin and crypto assets. A lot of people couldn't live through those swings. So even if that was a viable option, go and own those long term. You're not going to be able to move through those swings.
Yeah.
You're going to drive yourself crazy. I mean, you look at the last 3 years, we've had great returns. And I feel like I've heard from probably half of my clients going, are we going to be okay? The market looks pretty choppy right now. There's a lot of volatility out there. It's pulled back like 5%. Like, are you serious? We've been spoiled lately.
Yeah.
It's really hard to take emotion out of it and look at your portfolio daily or weekly and watch those swings.
You nailed that on the head, Steve, really, because we've been spoiled, right? Like any aspect of life, when we get spoiled and we have a little bit of, sports fan or whatever, right? And you have a downturn, you're like, oh, the sky is falling. And it's like, no, it's been pretty good, Mm-hmm. So it's hard to balance that. So that's a great point about the emotions there. All right, let's go to the next one. Maybe this one's not as well known to some of the listeners out there, this guy, but he's a big character, obviously, as well. Grant Cardone, for those of you who doesn't know, he's got a pretty big empire as well. He frequently argues that using as much leverage as possible is the fastest path to wealth, especially in real estate. He downplays risk, promoting aggressive borrowing, and frames caution as playing it small.
Keyword there, aggressive. So he's pretty much as insane as they come when it comes to investing. He's built up a real estate empire by using properties to essentially acquire more properties and more properties, more real estate. So can't say what he's done hasn't worked. It's probably worth $100+ million. I don't know.
Right.
But aggressive is the keyword. So you're taking on debt to acquire more. So in a retirement and a finance aspect, that'd be like taking on margin to buy more equities, which works in good markets, compounds losses in bad markets.
Yeah, and I haven't had one client ask me about taking on leverage in their retirement portfolio. Hasn't happened once. Where I hear it and where this gets scary and dangerous is younger investors. A lot of younger investors, I'll hear, my son is doing this. What do you think of this? He's taking on leverage in the crypto space because he thinks he's going to hit it big with this specific crypto project. And that is where it can get very dangerous. And I have heard some horror stories at this point. You take on leverage, and we're not talking about 2 or 3x. In that space, you can go 10, 20, 30, 40x. You go 100x. And that's where it can get very dangerous. But when you're dealing with younger investors that are watching these YouTube videos going, well, this guy's got 100% hit rate. I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to go buy this coin. I'll get some 10x. I'll go 10x leverage, and I'm going to retire a couple decades early. What are my parents doing?
Yeah.
I mean, proper diversification and just DCAing into a retirement plan. That's crazy.
And they might be right. They might be right, Steve, but what if they're not? You know what I mean? That's a big risk. I mean, life is about risk, right? So, I mean, no matter if you're on a skateboard at, 16 or you're on a skateboard at 60, it's a different level of risk.
And that's part of the problem is today with social media, people look and they see, oh, this person hit it big. I'm going to try to mirror what they did. And it's a quick way to blow yourself up when you add leverage. And in retirement, it makes no sense. We preach being conservative and boring here. Leverage is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So listen, no hot take list would be complete without maybe the king of this space, which is Mr. Ramsey, right? Certainly built himself quite the empire. And look, Dave, a lot of advisors, I've talked to advisors all across the country, guys, just like you and I have been for many years. A lot of guys actually really like what Dave has to say on the debt side of things, maybe not so much on the investing side. So, and maybe this particular hot take here is why. So let me read this one to you, let you guys react. And of course, he's no stranger to controversial takes anyway, but he's taking the common 4% rule, kind of blowing it up really, and advocating for 8% annual withdrawal instead of the 4% from your portfolio for retirees, mind you, who invest 100% in stocks. Because if over time the S&P 500 yields a 10% rate of return, Steve, to your point a few minutes ago, been spoiled the last couple of years, he says the money should last you through retirement. 8%, guys, on 100% in the market. That would scare a lot of people. They wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
If we had clients 100% in the market, I think our phone would be ringing off the hook. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think Dave's running face-to-face meetings.
No. And as I said earlier, right, these guys are not in the trenches seeing clients like you guys are. So it's a little different to talk about. And he's right technically, right? From a math standpoint, this does make sense. He's not right?
No, it does not. He's not factoring in sequence of returns risk, which is the biggest risk. So yes, it can work. If you retire and we catch 2023, 2024, 2025, and you retire into an up market, but if you retire into a down market, this plan is on a path to failure pretty quick.
I mean, just think if you retire into a bear market, market's down 20% over 2 years, you pull 8% for 2 years, you've just spent over a third of your portfolio. That's crazy.
And it's so strange because he's such like a conservative, don't take on debt kind of guy. And then to have this type of an opinion, that's almost reckless. It's wild.
Yeah. And I mean, we work with so many different CFAs and CFPs out there, our colleagues. There's not one person saying this. There's not one person going, this is a fantastic idea. Let's take 100% of retirees' portfolios, throw it in the S&P 500, and then let them rip it at 8%.
Yeah.
It's going to work out well. This is going to work out great. Like, it's crazy.
Okay. All right. And to be fair, Dave's obviously built an empire and he's definitely helped a lot of people, I think, with the debt side, right? In their 30s, 40s, that kind of thing. But this is a different animal, especially when it was like specifically for retirees. So, all right.
I mean, you're talking, I don't even think I wouldn't recommend 100% of the S&P at a 4% rate. Clients couldn't handle that. There's no way.
Yeah. And even a 60-40 investor, 4% is kind of the rule of thumb, but in a zero interest rate environment, like we saw in the 2010s, you have to lower that to about a 3% withdrawal rate because bonds are paying you nothing on that portion. So
good point.
It's a matter of risk return and income withdrawal rate. Yeah, it's all going to be different depending on the environment you're in.
Well, that's why we wanted to nerd out a little bit with these hot takes from some of these financial talking heads, from guys who are in the trenches, CFPs, doing this daily with the team there. rwpaul.com is where you can find them online if you want to talk to them. All right, I saved maybe the kookiest one for last, guys, just for fun here. From the world's richest man, Mr. Musk. And the thing is, I think Elon actually believes this statement. I truly think he believes it. We can discuss the merits of trusting anyone to actually do it after the fact. But here's the statement. He predicts that advances in AI, energy, and robotics, which, by the way, the market downturn recently is not all just the conflict. There's been a lot of pushback on AI. But anyway, will generate such an abundance of resources for all individuals that retirement savings will become irrelevant. On a recent podcast, he said, don't worry about squirreling money away for retirement. In 10 or 20 years, it just won't matter. Everybody's going to get universal income, I guess, from the AI abundance.
We're doing it all wrong here. What are we thinking? Proper diversification, safe withdrawal rates. I mean, buy Bitcoin and gold, right? Lever up, rip it at 8%, and then it doesn't really matter because,
AI is going to save you.
So I guess there's no reason to buy Tesla stock or SpaceX stock.
It's right. I mean, and the thing is, I truly think he actually believes a lot of the things that he states. And that, it'll bring about this change. But, my fundamental take is, who would trust any individual, company, or government entity to dole out their money to make sure that you're fine in the future? I mean, this is, and this is the whole point of capitalism, right? I mean, we can get into an argument all day long, but this is where you take it upon yourself to build your wealth, not hoping somebody gives you your fair share.
Well, hey, I guess if we get there in 10 years or 20 years and we don't need any of the money we saved, we can go on some extra vacations.
So you wouldn't
cruise around on our hoverboards.
That's right. So you don't think this is a sound strategy, is what I'm hearing?
No. A lot of interesting takes here. And at the end of the day, it's important to see these are a lot of extreme takes. And the reason they're extreme is because they get clicks, they get likes, they get shares. And that's how people make their name for themselves. No one wants to watch the show that talks about diversification, 4% withdrawal rates. But make sure you subscribe to Retirement Approved, though, too.
But you know what, though? I mean, nobody wants to necessarily watch it on video clips, to your point, but they want it when it matters, right? When you get scared, when we see markets like we're seeing right now, or things get, kind of rocky out there, people are like, I better go talk to somebody. And when you get over 50, that kicks in a higher level, I think. Right.
So my approach to this is, I've got Roberty Kiyosaki blocked on Twitter. I don't need to see what that guy says. I've got Grant Cardone blocked on Twitter. I don't need to know what he says. I do like Suze Orman, and I do like Dave Ramsey. So I'm curious to see what they say. And I know Kevin O'Leary, if he offered me a royalty deal on Shark Tank, I'm not taking it. I'm good on that guy too.
Okay. All right. So I guess let me ask you, Steve, this final question. So there is value in the standard traditional ways of doing things we've been doing for 100+ years, right? I mean, some of this stuff clearly works, right?
It definitely works. It's just not as entertaining as this stuff.
Yeah.
So you're on a long car ride and you want to listen to something fun, go ahead and click on one of these videos. But when you want a dose of reality, that's when our clients watch our thought of the weeks or read our thought of the weeks and watch our podcast and come in for their review so we can lay everything out for them.
All right, there you go. So some financial hot take reactions from the guys, from Matt and Steve. Of course, as always, if you need help, we got links in the show descriptions down below. Go to rwpaul.com and get yourself some time onto the calendar, or retirementapproved.com, whichever one you want to do. Go check it out. Don't forget to check out Grumpy Grandpa as well. For sure. All right, the video's out there. Subscribe to this on Apple, Spotify, and of course, right here on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up and that subscribe button. It may not be as sexy as Grant and all the other ones, but dose of reality. I like the way Steve put that. So we try to bring you a good dose of reality mixed with a little bit of fun as well. So we'll catch you guys next time here on Retirement Approved with Matt and Steve Paul.
Retirement Approved is brought to you by Richard W. Paul & Associates, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Throughout the presentation, we may generally discuss different financial vehicles. However, nothing we say should be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle, nor should it be used to make decisions today about your investments or insurance. For full disclosures, check the show notes of today's episode.